Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons, where apparently today it's a fishing tourney. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Well, I suppose I kind of answered my own question there, didn't I? A fishing tourney. Wow, who'd have thunk it? Hold on, I've got some random Chrome tabs open. Let's close them out, you know. Chrome being super RAM hungry and all that stuff. Will it affect the recording? Probably not. I don't think I've run into that yet. Maybe it'll increase the file size or something. I don't think that's how it works. I think file size is probably to do with something like what's it called, like particle effects and that sort of thing, mainly. You know, if I was just recording a video game which is straight confetti for an hour, that'd be a big file size. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 1:55 PM on Saturday, April 10th, 2021. The spring fishing tourney runs until 6 PM today. Get started in the plaza. That's all for today. Have a fun day out there. So I guess we'll do our usual business, and then, I don't know why I said that so weirdly, our usual business, and then maybe we'll do a round or two of a fishing tourney. Is that fishing tourney the one I've got the golden trophy on, or is it the bug? I honestly can't remember. Either way, they add up. So, you know, we'll sort of just go along with it. But for now, let's go about our business. What's been happening today? I don't know. You are worthy, dear. I had a buddy give me this a long time ago. It's seen a lot of action, a lot of good times, and a few bad. Now I'm passing it along to you. Treat it right? Oh no, I'll be watching. Mia. What on earth did you give us, Mira? Apparently I have a bird bath recipe in my inventory. I didn't know this. Tiger butterfly model. Of course, a floor light, which we bought after Rowan wanted one for himself for some reason. A tool bag. Okay, I see. Unfortunately, not really much use for it in Animal Crossing, apart from aesthetic reasons, which is, you know, fair enough in its own right. But yeah, what's been going on today? Not really much. I'm not going to talk to you, CJ, yet. We're going to walk this way around the island, and we're going to try and find both the thingamajig. The message in a bottle. Oh yeah, that was actually Christina Aguilera, not Nelly Furtado, whoever I said. I don't know, I can't remember like any of the artists or popular songs or that sort of thing. I just remember how the song goes, which, you know, if you want to break it down to its most basic component, isn't that the most important part? Well, I suppose your mileage may vary. It depends, I suppose, if you're a fan of the song of the artist. I've always not an area I'm particularly well educated on. Well educated makes it sound like something you learn in school, which is not particularly true. You remember music class in school? I feel like music gets a bad rep in school. Mainly because I can't remember who I've had this conversation with before, but it's probably the class in school which has possibly the highest, like, range of skills before you start it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know about you, we had music class in year 7, but like the range of ability in music is just unfathomably ridiculously large from people who basically know zero about music, which is, to be fair, a lot of people. And most common one is people have done like a grade or two maybe in an instrument, and then you get some outliers like me, who's done grade 8 piano by the time they start year 7 music, and I don't know what grade I was on violin, actually. Grade 5 maybe? No, that can't be right. Grade 4. Maybe I was No, when I started, I was doing my grade 8. That was right. Okay, whatever. You know, I'm just humble bragging at this point. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, just the absolute range of skill in music class is just. How do you teach anyone anything in music? Is basically what it comes down to. Because music was kind of unfortunately, I'd say, is a bit of looked down upon, I suppose, in our school. Like, no one really cared much about it unless you were one of a few people who were really into music, which was about 5 people each year, because it was not a popular choice, unfortunately, for GCSE or A level. Excuse me, I'm just coughing. That's when a professional would probably pause the video and not continue coughing, but, you know, you got to roll with the punches sometimes. Life hands you short sticks, and you got to be like, all right, I'm still going to make a tortilla out of this. Is that an apt metaphor? I don't think so, but we'll roll with it anyway. No, anyway, my point being, music class was something which is a bit, not scorned, but like people didn't really take it seriously. It's not like, obviously, all the STEM classes, the maths and sciences tend to be, for whatever reason, people put on a pedestal, which is, you know, in some aspects, it's. I can understand why, but obviously, you know, we're still children and teenagers around that time. I feel like artistic expression is an important part of, I suppose, understanding yourself, especially as a teenager, which is kind of like the main time you do that, isn't it? So, and music is a very nice thing. I think, because it's as I say, music, universal language. Although they also say that with maths, so I'm not really sure how that works. But I feel like anyone can appreciate music, can't they? You know, it's not like you don't need basically a high level understanding to listen to a song and be like, that sounds nice to me, you know. And because it's so freely artistic and up to expression and that sort of thing, there's no right or wrong answers when it comes to music. It allows for lots of people to enjoy it in their own sort of different way, I suppose, and explore things at their own pace or to their own liking. Anyway, my point being, I wonder if these flowers can't. No, they can. There's space around them. Never mind. I was gonna be like, maybe they can't reproduce because there's no space around them. And I looked and I was like, no, there's space around them, and I'm pretty sure they can grow over paths. I think. Don't quote me on that. Anywho, yeah, it's a bit of a scorned one, and I think part of that is to do definitely with just the absolute range of abilities that can come into music class, you know. Because how is a music teacher supposed to teach an entire class of about 30 different musical abilities, you know? You can start off basic, you can teach everyone like how to read musical notation and staves and notes and key signatures and that is, but anyone who's done like at least grade 1 will probably already know all that sort of stuff, and we've got another Lily of Valley out there. Anyone who's done like grade 5 and above would probably be bored to tears for like anything you do in that aspect. So it's like, okay, so we got to try and appeal to everyone. Okay, why don't we just start with like composing music? That's like free form and that sort of thing. Problem is, you know, if you've done grade 5 and above, you've probably done a lot. You've in fact had to have done music theory here in UK, so you have to know at least the basics of composition. So when you do that, you're just like, it's fine. It's just like, okay, maybe even in some aspects it's quite good, because I honestly had quite a lot of fun doing music composition back in class. But it must be so frustrating when you're someone who basically has done no music theory, has no experience in music. It's like, how do you make something that sounds good? I don't know. We'll put these notes together. Why doesn't this sound good? Oh, because you don't know anything about key signatures, tempo, you don't know anything about chord progressions or anything like that, cadences. It's like, there's a lot which goes on with music, and it's not like maths. Okay, maybe maths is a bad example. It's not like geography or something where people tend to study geography. What am I batting? Oh yes, wrapping paper. It's not like geography. People don't tend to like become A-level geographers or something before their first music lesson. Okay, that's not quite the same, because learning an instrument isn't quite the same as studying music for like GCSE. Oh my god, what's happening to my voice? Isn't quite the same as studying music for GCSE or A-level, because it's much more about the music theory and composition side, I suppose, in GCSE and A-level, whereas performance in musical grades. But still, it's a really good basis to have. Anyway, so it's not really like geography where people just before their first lesson are just like, oh yeah, and I know exactly how rivers are formed, and I understand about cultural migration. Is that a thing? I can't remember what the term is. Anyway, you understand all of this, and you understand like every rock and how it's formed. I guess that's more geology rather than geography. I'm sorry. Benedict will not be happy with me. It's okay. He doesn't watch this video, so it's fine. I can get away with taking shots at my friends. They won't know. Not a point. What was my point? I forgot what my point was. Yeah, because it must be so incredibly difficult to teach and keep it entertaining for everyone. So what ended up happening is, because we had music, we had 2 different rooms of music, because I don't know. To be fair, music. A very expensive subject, I must imagine, to supply. Maths, you can just buy the textbooks. Okay, textbooks are expensive. Music, you got to buy like pianos and keyboards for every single person. You got to have like separate rooms and all this recording equipment and that sort of stuff. To be fair, it's fun. I think musical expression. So yeah, we had 2 different rooms. We had one room which was the piano room, which is basically we were split up into pairs. In our school, we did it alphabetically, which that's a whole other ballgame of skill discrepancy. And we worked in pairs on keyboards, and we did things like I can't really remember many of the lessons. One of the lessons I remember, I think it was like one of the first lessons or something, was the teacher gave us a piece of music. I believe it was Coldplay Clocks. When one goes like da 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 da, and he gave us, it was a 2-part piece, one with the main melody going like da 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 da, and the other part going like da 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 da, etc. And he was like, the first pair who can learn this, and then come play it on the grand piano, which is in the center of the room, will get like 7 merits, which is essentially like our school's equivalent of like Hogwarts house points, I suppose. It's basically the sign of achievement. And 7 has a lot of them, by the way, because normally you only get like 1 for like doing good work or something. And everyone was like, oh, okay, cool, because we were like young year 7s, we were trying to do our best to do that sort of thing. Get our commendation cards. And certificates. What was I saying? I forgot. Anyway, we were like, sure. But, you know, that's just like, as the story goes, it's not much. As you know, obviously I had like grade 8 piano experience, so obviously I could play both parts completely fine. The only thing was just teaching the lower part, the easier part, to my friend who had musical experience. He'd done like grade 1 or maybe grade 2 on violin. I can't remember. And then plus the lower part was super easy. It was like it was 3 different notes, and you repeat it 8 times, and repeat a different note 8 times, and repeat the same note 8 times, and repeat a different note 8 times. So it was just about him keeping rhythm and him remembering it. And you know, he's a very competitive person who likes to learn about things, so of course he, you know, paid attention as I taught him. And then it took like only a few minutes, and we just did it a couple of times, and it was like, alright, let's just go up and show that we can do it. To be fair, the teacher tried to add a bit of grandioseness to it. It was like, okay, if you mess it up, you won't get another attempt, so make sure you do it right. And we were like, alright, and we just played it, and it was right. So we got those merits. Where is Flip? He is not here, so we will plant these flowers, clear out inventory, then we'll just do some fishing tourney stuff, I suppose. So yeah, we got those merits, and it was all dandy, I guess. Let's put a flower here because I don't know what I'm doing with it. And yeah, alright Mirror, just like be like that, I suppose. You know, Flip might be out and about fishing. Oh, there he is. Wonder if I do this, he'll stop fishing, so I can give him something. Can't catch anything. Also, Flip, why does your head look so big? I guess in the fishing tourney day, they don't stop fishing. They don't stop fishing and they don't stop fishing, which is fair enough. Got sheer will. Iron determination. Oh my god. Excuse me. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, but I feel like that's starting the lessons off on the wrong foot. That's like just showing a massive discrepancy in skill right there. Just being like, oh, here's a reward for basically choosing music as your hobby when you're younger. All right, good job. Which I don't know, probably starts to breed, you know, when you're getting moody. Apparently we have a song. I had no idea. Didn't recognise it. I'd imagine it builds a little bit of resentment because, you know, you're like year 7. That's like you're 12 or whatever. You want to be the best. Everyone wants to try and show off and that sort of thing. And this is sort of just like putting a massive spotlight on you, I suppose, right from the beginning, being like, hey, if you're not up here, you don't know anything. This is not the class for you, or something. Which, I don't know, maybe it starts things on the wrong foot, or maybe people just don't care. I don't know. But for my podium upwards, looking down at the poor peasants beneath me. Sorry, that's very rude. But I thought I'd lead into the evil villain part. It seems like it's the wrong way to go about things. Because obviously that thing is also like, it's done repairs. Like, I was lucky that the person who was next to me alphabetically, who was also like one of my closest friends, he was someone who had a little bit of music experience, because there was another person in the class who actually did like grade 7 piano music or something. I can't quite recall. But he was paired up with, oh, we didn't put the tiger butterfly down. We don't need this. Sell them. Sell, buy. He was paired up with someone who he really couldn't care about music. In fact, he couldn't care about music so much that he got banned from music lessons in later years. So yeah, I don't know. He missed out on his merits. No, you might say at the end of the day, do his merits matter? Absolutely not. No one cares about these merits anymore. It's not like I can put up my CV. He's like, ooh, I got 7 commendation cards back in year 7. When people are like, wow. They'd be like, what the heck? There's a certain red flag. If the only achievement they could put on their CV is something from high school. So yeah, my point being, if it wasn't obvious enough, it's not about merits. It's more about the setup, I suppose, for music classes. Because that starts things off on the wrong foot. Anyway, I don't really remember a lot of the other lessons. I remember we had a few composition lessons, which I don't really know, because obviously I have a very narrow experience. No, sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I have my own experience with music is very specific, and to me it was something I was completely fine with and very comfortable with learning and study for. We don't have a tiger butterfly model. I don't know where we should put it though. I guess we'll put it around here. Move a bee, because these are all butterflies. That's a bird bath. What are you doing? Yeah, so for me it was completely fine. It was like, oh, compose a piece using, like, not using these things, but we'll explore. Like, I remember one of the lessons was like, oh, this is how you use a recording function on the piano to try and make some pieces, and you can play things in canon. And I was like, oh, perfectly fine. I remember a friend who I was next to was ill that day, and I was paired up with someone else. It was also my friend, mind you. We chose to be partners, and it was all completely fine. And he was a very artistic person, and he didn't have music experience, but he liked to. But he could still contribute because he could go through me and be like, oh, I wish it could sound a bit more like this. Oh, and I'll be like, oh, you mean like this? I'd be like, just a bit sad. I'd be like, okay, I'll just, play it in a minor key or something instead. And he'll be like, yeah, that's it. And, it's easier to have a back and forth when someone's, well, I should say, I'm not going to speak for him. And obviously I'm not going to ask him because I haven't spoken to him for many years now. But presumably it's a lot easier to participate in interface with those sort of lessons, especially when you're paired up with someone who can translate the things for you. Because when you're beginner, you'll be like, I don't know how to make this more sad. Or I don't know how to make this sound more like this or whatever. But of course, if you're someone who's experienced in music, you'd be like, oh, you just do this. And then, it's easy to interface. It's all like, Yeah, just, I suppose that goes for all walks of life. Just being paired up with someone who knows what we're doing is a lot more fun than being paired up with someone who doesn't know what we're doing. Which, is a given. Do we need to customize our fishing rod? No, I don't think it doesn't break during a fishing tourney, so we don't need to worry about that too much. And we haven't done this fishing tourney for ages. Yeah, it's a lot easier to interface with that sort of thing when you're paired up with someone who knows what we're doing, is what I imagine. But then I imagine, like, since we're all paired up, what if you're two people who none of you have any music experience? Like, what do you even do during these lessons? It must be so difficult to do anything, because you're like, alright, let's make music, I guess? And you're like, okay, how? It's not a good answer, because, like, there's a lot of things that goes into musical theory. It's not like something you can teach your basics, you can teach like the scales. It's like, okay, well, now we can play a scale, I guess. That's not really a musical piece, and it's probably not very satisfying to make it, but I don't know, your mileage may vary. I suppose if you're someone who has no musical experience, even playing a scale could be quite exciting, so I won't speak on their behalf. But I feel like you're just missing out on a lot there, aren't you? And it's just a difficult thing, which I don't think has a solution. Like, what are you meant to do? Like, so like, it's a bit early. I suppose the real answer, what you could do is you could divide music classes up into sets. So, like, all the people who have music experience are like in one music class, and the people who don't on the other. But that just becomes a scheduling nightmare. And also, music skill is an incredible range. There's a big difference between learning like a few grades, like grade 2 or 3, up to like grade 8, or even diplomas and stuff like that. And there's a difference between someone who's done grade 8 and then very little music theory, and someone who's done grade 5 and tons of music theory in those sort of lessons. And they have different skill sets. So it's like, okay, well, what do you do now? Okay, well, I guess you teach about music history. And it's like, okay, this is just a very specific history lesson, isn't it now? And I will say, I remember we used to have like an effort to teach us music history, I suppose. Our teacher had like these pop quizzes, which is, of course, no one likes pop quizzes, and it doesn't help that not many people liked music in the first place as a lesson. But he had these pop quizzes where we're meant to read a Wikipedia article or something about like an old musical form, or like the origin of a music genre, and I can't really remember exactly what he asked questions about. And he'd ask a quiz, he'd quiz us on it, or we'd all do a quiz on it. I don't really remember how I did. I'll be honest, I read the Wikipedia article for it like the first 3 times or something, and then one time I just actually completely forgot about it. But I was sat next to someone who did read it, because he was actually someone who actually went on to do music later, I believe. He actually quite liked music, which is fair enough. Well, props to him, and he just gave me the answers. I'm sorry, Mr. I won't say his name, T. I cheated on that one music test because I forgot that we had it. To be fair, I probably would have read the Wikipedia article, but most people, they just don't care. You know what ended up happening was a different class had the same music teacher earlier in the week, and they would just like write down all the answers for the questions and just give it to our class. We just answered the quiz, so really we didn't learn anything, which is like when you're a teenager and you don't really think about that, you're just sort of like, oh, whatever, school sucks, who cares, that sort of thing. But now looking at it through the guise of the adult, of the guys. Oh, psych, I'm not actually an adult. Oh, sorry, I just hit my microphone. That's exactly why. No, through the view of an adult, it's like, that must be heartbreaking. You'd be like, oh, music is my passion. I want to teach these kids about all the fun things you can do in music, and the history of it is really interesting. And it's like, none of them are interfacing with it. None of them care. In fact, why am I even teaching? Like, I remember when people are picking like it was either GCSEs or A levels. There's a day we had in our school where basically we can come in, all the teachers will be doing different like talks at different parts of the day, to basically try and entice you or answer any questions you have about doing the subject. Me at the time, I was like, I was pretty set on what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to do maths and the sciences, obviously. The question was which one would I take, either chemistry or biology? So I went to those two lectures, and then I went to the maths ones just for fun, just to like say hi to my teacher, I guess. Said them all. But then I heard the story from one of my friends. Actually, I think it was Ned who told me about the music teacher. Basically, like, no one turned up to any of it, because there was like 5 sessions during a day, because obviously they can't have everyone do it at once. So there were 5 sessions, so each teacher would do a subject talk 5 times, and then, you know, because people only take like 5 subjects max, and you just go to each of the talks. That's how I think apparently like no one turned up to any of the music ones, or maybe like one person did or something. So he just sat there playing on the piano the entire time, and it's just like, you know, he I wouldn't say he was the most popular. He wasn't the most popular teacher in school, but I feel like he was. You know, as I got older, I was like, he's actually kind of a cool teacher. It's just like people come in like almost prepared not to learn anything in music in the first place. So, you know, it must be incredibly frustrating, incredibly sad that no one wants to interface with something you love and you just want to teach people for. Not to make this depressing or anything. Like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, because obviously maybe he's just like, yeah, whatever. I expect it by now or something. Or maybe he doesn't think like that at all. Maybe he's just like, yeah, screw kids. In which case, fair enough, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we had some really interesting music projects. Like, a lot of the time in later years, I would work with Ned on music projects. He's got some musical experience. He doesn't really know how to play instruments, but he knows how to sing. Or knew how to sing, and that sort of thing. Like, he was part of choir. That sort of thing. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so I worked with him a lot of things, like when we were in the computer rooms, I paired up with him a lot of times, and we had some really fun, like, I was just saying, music is really fun when you know what you're doing. I think, because we had some really fun tasks. Like, one of them was I can't remember, I think it was about Peter and the Wolf, that musical thing, that Mozart thing, piece or whatever. And it was like, okay, basically the task for this term is, or maybe it was just that lesson, or maybe a couple of lessons, I can't remember, was basically to create your own musical piano pieces based on animals of your own choice. And we're like, oh, cool. I remember me and Ed, we did a rabbit. And we did like a rabbit. It was like all happy and like skipping like with a forest, and then suddenly it's like crash, because it got shot, because I don't know, we're like year 8, and we wanted like, oh, obviously we can't just have a happy rabbit, it's got to die at the end of this piece or whatever. So when it starts getting more like hectic as the adrenaline kicks in, and then it starts like slowing down, and then it's become more sparse and more chaotically random, until it just like ends and just like, and then like cuts off as rabbits dies, I guess. I'm sorry, this is a bit dark. But a bit overly dramatic, but it's okay. It's a story, you know. You can pretend in I added in like a coda where the rabbit gets revived and saved and nursed back to health by a loving veterinarian or something. Anyway, creating that piece is incredibly fun. I think we did a second one as well, but I can't remember what the second one was. And then we had another one. I remember it was about the blues, and it was about how it was all, you know, dark, depressing. It was always about raw emotion, that sort of thing. And I remember we wrote one. It's always weird writing about things we don't know about, because, you know, you're a teen, there's only a limited amount of life experiences you have. So I remember we were like, okay, we got to tap into those emotions. What are we going to write about? I don't know. This guy went to jail for a murder he didn't commit or something, or something he was framed for. I can't remember. I don't even remember exactly the details about it, but it was obviously a life experience we've never had. And we just wrote a blues song about it. It's being like, I think that's how it went. I don't know. It's been a while. But yeah, we had some really cool things. He also introduced, we also had lessons with like certain music software. I can't remember what this one was. It was basically like a remix thing, like those where you could like get sound samples and then like sample them together to make weird stuff. I remember the pair that sat next to us. That's actually Sophia now I think about it. Sophia and some other person who I haven't spoken to for ages. I think we have time to do maybe one or two more fishing tourneys. They made a thing and they somehow got it. They sampled things and somehow got it to basically go mushroom over and over again, which was hilarious. I don't remember what we did. My memory's a bit fuzzy for that one. Oh yeah, we also had another music project. This one, I remember, it was me, Ned, Ali, and the other friend. And we were gonna... It was basically everyone in the class had to split up into groups or whatever, and they had to make a presentation and then do a performance of like a piece and the history of that genre of a piece. And that's what we were going to do. It was going to be like us four, like Ned was going to sing, I was going to play the piano, I think. Then one of the other two was going to play violin, and I don't remember what the other one was going to do. Maybe we had two violins? Something like that. And it was going to be sick. Wait, no, hold on. Now I think about it. It wasn't the other friend, it was a different friend. He was going to play the guitar. I don't know what the other friend was doing, now I think about it. Maybe he was in a different group? Hold on, that doesn't make sense. Because it was always us four, and then it became those four? I don't know. Maybe he was ill? Who knows? And then I remember two people were left, and unfortunately one of them was... actually, he was a guy who got banned from music lessons later on in life. He didn't care, and he was partnered up with the other person who did care about music, and, you know, unfortunately, no one wanted to join their group, or whatever. And because we were, like, the good kids, or whatever in class, the teacher went up to us, it's like, okay, basically we can't have this pair just doing this, otherwise otherwise this guy's basically going to be working on his own, which is, you know, can you four split yourself up into two pairs and one take each of a pair? And we were like, at the time we were like, fine. At the time now, I'm like, obviously I would do it, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Or we could just make like an Uber group with 6 of us. Actually, that's probably what I would suggest. If I were to do it now, I'd be like, why not just have all 6 of us in one group or something? I mean, the 6 group is basically a 5 group. So I don't think it's all that bad. So we had to split into 3, which is sad. And like, at the time we were teenagers, we were moaning like, oh, I can't believe we had to do this. Like, we were going to make such a sick piece or whatever. The problems of us 4 together. And it's just because we're good kids. Now, as an adult, I'm like, this is like obviously the right decision to do, because it's not that much worse for us. Like, we're still going to be friends otherwise, but it's definitely saved the situation from one of a pair who really liked music and, you know, just wouldn't have a partner, basically wouldn't have a group. I remember like the other two took worked with the person who did like music, and we had the person who basically didn't care about anything. And I remember we were trying to work with him and being like, okay, what can we do? So Ned was the one who moved to piano. I did violin. Apparently the only instrument this guy had was ukulele, and he didn't even care. So I remember I was playing I do remember the piece. It was called Tico-Tico Bird and Cornmeal for one of my violin pieces. I was like, okay, why don't we just do that, and then we can do like the history of the tango. I can't remember what genre of music it was. And I make a simple like piano accompaniment and a simple ukulele accompaniment. Turned out the guy didn't even know how to play ukulele. Also, he didn't interface with any of the things. Also, we didn't even make a project. Also, I remember me and Ned, we practiced it once. He came around to my house and practiced it once, and then, you know, as it turned out, we never actually needed to perform the project in the end. Because what happened is, it was meant to be half the groups perform before summer break, or winter break or something, and then half the group perform after, and the groups that performed after basically never needed to do it for some unfathomable reason. So we never actually needed to perform that piece, or do a project which we never made. So much for that. Remember Ali's group did perform though? No, it wasn't Ali. Wait, Ali wasn't in our group. Yeah, it was the 2 other friends. Oh, wait, hold on. What was Ali doing? Who was Ali with? I don't know. Honestly, got no idea what he's doing. I would ask him, but there's no way he remembers. Where am I going? Let's cash in these prizes. I'm gonna round off this episode here, I suppose. Apparently I got a lot of music story anecdotes. Yeah, in fact I got even more if I can think about, but that had to be for another time. Anyway, my whole point is music lessons are cool, but it's a shame that some people can't interface with them because of range of skill, and it's sort of my points for swag. It's a bit difficult for the teacher to do anything, I suppose. Like, what can the teacher do? Not really much. Sure, why not exchange some more? I wonder if it's... I kind of want to check quickly if we got the golden fishing, the golden fishing trophy or not. Because one of them I farmed up the golden trophy for, and the other one I didn't. I think it's the bug off I did the golden one for, didn't I? That seems like something I did. Let's see, I probably put the trophy here. Yeah, the bug off I did the gold one. Oh no, I should have put things away. Oh well, doesn't matter. Let's round off this episode here. Wait, did I check the note? I did check the note terminal. And do we need to do anything else? Not really. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, all greatly appreciated. Links down below. I hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. And no, share your own music class stories if you've got any. So until next time, bye bye for now.